Thanks for shining on with us.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for waking up and shining on with us today.
Yeah, we are coming to you from the Shine Time Studios in Mountain Shine Creative in Cumberland, Maryland.
This is true, and today we're really excited because in Shine Time Studios, we had the opportunity to interview a local, actually, in our studio, rather than virtually.
Yeah, and it's really great because she talks about really important topics, such as our health, the food that we eat, and you know that old saying, you are what you eat.
Yep.
I mean, just if you eat junk food, if you eat a lot of sugar and stuff like that, I'm not saying anything, negative against that, but you'll see the difference if you begin to eat healthy food, like healthy fruit, natural fruit, like organically grown fruit. There's a huge difference between this, and I think it's important that everybody listens to this episode because there's a lot of information that we can use to improve ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually.
It's very true, and we're interviewing Miss Suzy Snow, and she's doing this great project in Frostburg, and she talks a lot about why it's important for our community, and we just really hope you stay tuned and can support this project in any way, because we're really grateful that it's coming to our community, and it's really a community project. It's not just a business, it's a project to serve the community and to feed the community in the healthiest way possible.
Yeah, and Suzy Snow is not related to Jon Snow, in case if anybody was wondering. So please stay tuned. We're gonna
Laura Snow, for that matter, who we also interviewed.
Or Laura Snow, but yes, we did interview Laura. Check out that podcast; it's very controversial. But yeah, we're gonna take a short little break, watch her intro, and we will be right back with Miss Suzy Snow.
Stay tuned.
For many of us, spirituality is just the quest to find essence or true meaning and to really just connect with a higher consciousness.
Welcome to the Bring Me to Life Network.
Connecting with your spirituality is very important in this life. By becoming mindful of all of that, you can realize where you are and if that is leading you to where you want to go.
Listen to the little simple things, because it's those little simple things that are going to shift you vibrationally in such a way that will prepare you to become very intuitively minded and ready to step forward on the next part of your path.
I hope you can feel the love that's inside you, that's inside me, that connects us.
Awakening humanity to spirituality and higher consciousness.
And welcome back. Thank you for staying with us through that very short break. And yeah, we have here a guest for you. I'll let Shannon introduce her.
So today we have Miss Suzy Snow, who is joining us to tell us about this awesome project. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Oh, goodness. Well, who am I? I think that's a bigger question than I can get into in just a podcast. But in short, I am the owner of Wholesome Harvest. It's a local food market coming to Main Street in Frostburg, Maryland. I would call myself an ethnobotanist, somebody who studies the relationships between cultures and plants. And I would also call myself a very passionate food person. I love food a lot, and food's also like the most joyful thing and also the most unjoyful thing in my life at the same time. But so I just try and keep it joyful as much as I can.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about why it is so important to you to have this food in your life?
Oh wow! Well, how far back do you want to go?
Let's let people know why it's important for some people to have a good food source.
Well, having a good food source is essential. I mean, our bodies are made up of what we put into it. The food that we eat creates the cells that we have, just like any other animal on Earth. You know, it's made up of the things that they eat. So humans are made up by the food that they eat, and when you don't eat food that is healing and nourishing and wholesome and good for the body, then your body will fall apart. And I found that out at a very young age. I spent most of my life really sick. And by really sick, I mean, I didn't realize how sick I was until I started to get well. And having good, high quality food that is not filled with all of the stuff that I can't even pronounce. And I don't know how they make it or why they make it or why it's even in the food, because I've read those materials data safety sheets and been like, I don't know if that's something I want to put in my body. And so finding out about healthy food and the food allergies that I have caused me to have to make all of the food that I was eating from scratch by hand, almost exclusively myself. It's very rare that I eat something that somebody else has made, which means that I spend many hours a day thinking about and contemplating about and eating and creating food. So in doing that, I learned a lot about what makes me feel good and a lot about what makes me feel bad. And having good food, having food that takes care of your body is essential to being spiritually and emotionally well. And actually, in part of doing this, this is something that I just did last weekend, 2 weekends ago, actually. I do fasting on occasion, where I sustain from food and drink only water. I found that to be a very healing thing, which somebody trying to sell food wouldn't normally want to say, oh, by the way, maybe you should fast a little bit, because that doesn't sell the product. But I'm much more interested in people being healthy. And in fasting, I've learned a lot about my body. And something 2 weekends ago that I found out was that when you are hungry, it is so hard to be patient and kind and to care for the things around you, because that I'm hungry, and you're just running through things like trying to find the food. And even when you're consciously aware of, I'm not eating on purpose. And then I imagine all of these people who don't have good food, who don't have good supplies of food, who go hungry every single day. And I just hope that things that I can do in my life will be able to help remedy that and provide better quality of life for people who can afford it and who can't afford it. And that was the
awesome.
For food.
I think it's great that you do that. It's really, really needed. And I definitely agree with what you said about kind of like you are what you eat. There's been many times where we ate lots of tacos and I started smelling like a taco. And I was like, this is definitely not good. Not good. Yeah. But my vibration and my energy was at its maximum when I was eating all like non-GMO organic food that's really good for you, and like lots of omega-3s and stuff like that.
And that's actually one of the simplest things I think it is to understand, that being human and being born on this earth, our bodies were designed to live on earth. Mm-hmm. They were designed to live on earth. They weren't designed to live in a lab, in a building, in a factory. They were designed to live in the soil, eating plants and food products that are coming from the earth. Our bodies were specifically designed for that. And so how far away we've gotten from that, it's almost like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do?
What happened?
Putting colorings and plastics and all kinds of big words that you can't describe, like you said, into our food. It's sad that that's what we're doing. But I also agree with the whole the hangry aspect. Like if you're hungry and you can't focus, you start to get angry.
Hangry.
Yeah, you're hangry. My family always called it hangry because they'd take us on these day trips. But like my family, I'm not hating on you guys, but they didn't like to spend money on like big meals or food, because they had lots of kids and like we would all travel together, and it was hard for them to get like a healthy meal, because healthy always seemed expensive when we were growing up. And I mean,
it does.
That's why I'm really excited for your project and what you're doing to make things affordable and easy access. But they would go on these trips all day, and halfway through, me and my brothers, we would just be sad, and we'd be like, oh, we're so hungry, we're so like miserable, and like nobody could understand why we weren't having fun at this like vacation or whatever we were doing. And it was because we weren't getting the nutrition that we needed, or the nutrients. And we were also drinking like sodas, and when we would eat, it would be like McDonald's or something like that. And it would not satisfy what we needed as growing children. And then it's not that they were doing anything wrong. It's just that's how our society was brought up. Like, you go on vacation, you go out to eat, you go do all this stuff, you make the kids happy, you get the Happy Meal, and the people really think they're doing us a favor, but they're not really. And that's why we need this healthy option. Can you tell us a little bit more about what people can expect at Wholesome Harvest?
Okay, well, I'm about to go on like tangents of food philosophy, but I'll bring it back to what's really like going on right here. I'll talk about food with people another time. So, at Wholesome Harvest, the best way for me to describe what I am going to be creating is that it will be co-op-like. If anybody's ever been outside of the area to any of the co-ops in Pittsburgh or DC or just, even in Frederick, it will be a similar style to that. It's not going to be an actual co-op because of the legal structure of it. But that is what if you were to imagine something, that's what it would look like. I'm going to have a refrigerated section with dairy and eggs and products for in that area, and a frozen section. We'll have meats, we'll have cheeses, we'll have produce and fruit, bulk beans and grains and herbs and spices, and just a lot of really great stuff. I want to provide for what people want to buy. So there will be stuff in the store that I myself don't eat or will be interested in buying, but some people do. And, each person's body is different. And so I want to be able to provide for the things that people want in their body. And you know what? Sometimes you just go ahead and have that thing and enjoy it. And, variety and moderation. Like I've got my secret closet moments in my kitchen where I'm eating half a pound of honey and going crazy and stuff. But I'll have those items available as well. And then items that I can personally feel confident recommending. This is a high quality product. This is an item that is going to nourish your body. And kind of along the lines of what we were talking about, I learned the first year that I did a local food fast that you can eat food and starve if it is not giving your body the nutrients that you need, or if your body is unable to assimilate the nutrients in the food. And so helping customers to better take charge of the food in their lives and what it means for their body and how to make it best for their body so that their body can eat it. Because you can go out and you can eat a whole bunch of grass, and there's tons of nutrients in grass, but the human body is not designed to get nutrients from grass. And so hopefully I can help people to understand how to get the most out of their food, so that when the food, which is high quality food, is more expensive, that's just the nature of it, because you are paying for people to grow it good and to grow high quality items, because you're paying for these things that are going to nourish your body. It's almost in a way a form of healthcare that you're getting by buying these high quality foods. And it is it is more expensive. And so you're going to want that food to go further. I find in our culture a lot that we have a rich men's mentality, is how I want to kind of call it, is that we have a tendency to throw away all of these parts, some of the best parts and most nourishing parts of food products, because we're told throw the seeds out, cut the tops off, throw this away, when it's like, wait a second, that is nourishing, healthy food that our bodies were designed to take in if we know how to use them properly. And so hopefully I can help bring us back to those ways in which we were supposed to be using food.
I love it.
Yeah, and I think that people should understand that it's going to cost more. I do the same thing with like homemade goods, owning the Mountain Chain Creative. When I see someone that complains about, like, let's say handmade soap, they're like, oh, I can buy a bunch of bars of soap at like Walmart for $1 and get 5 bars. Why would I pay $5 for this bar? And I'm like, because that person went through the time of making sure the ingredients are natural, they're healthy, they've hand put it into the mold, they've put it out, they've packaged it, they've made sure it's going to last for you. Like, that's the same thing that goes into like handmade goods, handmade food, locally grown or made anything, is you're knowing the person, or you're helping a person that's living near you, if you're doing it local, and going through that effort to not let it be touched by a machine or touched by those chemicals or just altered in any way. And it's just very natural, and getting back to our roots of why people were healthy back then. And there were different obstacles for people who did everything handmade versus what we do now. But it's obviously really important for us to keep those roots and to keep growing and helping each other do the handmade, local grown communities.
Absolutely. And I think that you raise a really important point about that is when we go to a store like Walmart or any large chain store, a lot of the costs that go into those products are externalized. We don't see them. For instance, we see that sugar is a big component of a lot of foods. That's because sugar is a slave traded item. That was the original. Well, I don't want to say the original. I don't want to say, I don't want to definitively mark things, but but sugar is a slave trade item, and we are pretty much continuing to support slavery by allowing this cheap sugar to come into our country from sugarcane factories. And there's a lot of food products that we have in the grocery stores that are just like that. They are slave trade items, and we don't see that loss of quality of life, the loss of health, the loss of the environment, the loss of communities and healthcare that are being pushed outside of our communities when they're brought in from elsewhere. And then, but when we go for local products where we know the people making them and we can hold them accountable for the environmental impacts and the social impacts and the just community implications that having these products have, then we are better able to take control of that and to understand more thoroughly what we're paying for. Because those things in Walmart, we're paying with our environment, our water, we're paying with our air, we're paying with our community, all those mom and pop families that are gone now. And so, quite frankly, it's not worth community, it's not worth water, it's not worth air, it is not worth health to me to spend my hard-earned money that I'm trading my time for a product that is not as good as if I paid more money. It's worth it to spend more money for me because those things are worth paying for, those items that intangible. How do you put a cost on your community?
Mm-hmm. Right. How do you put a cost on your health too?
Yeah.
I think it kind of balances out. It kind of balances out too. Like if you're eating healthy, if you're eating really good food that's high quality, that might be a little bit more expensive. It balances out because people who are eating unhealthy, who are digesting that processed sugar, which is literally like a drug, they have to go to the hospital, they have to go and see doctors, they have to go and do tests and all this stuff that costs more money than if you were to eat healthy. And then you would feel great, you would have more energy, you wouldn't have to go to the doctor as much. So I just want to validate that, like, it's way
Absolutely.
better to spend that money than to not spend it and spend it on like something that's wrong with you,
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And money's only as good as the things that you spend it on. So If you spend it on good things, then your money's pretty valuable.
And it's equally as valuable and important for us to really take care of the area in which the food's being grown. So you're getting a lot of your foods like locally and regionally, correct? Like the surrounding counties? Or?
As much as I can within reason. Coffee's not grown in Western Maryland.
You do know a good coffee brewer.
Yes, I'm very excited to have him as part. Although he's saying he's very overwhelmed with orders, selling out a lot.
Base camp
coffee.
Yeah, definitely. And that's another part of it is I'm trying to do it as local as possible because then we aren't seeing the costs on transportation. There's less transportation costs, and then also that is less stress on the environment. It's better for our air quality. It's better for our water. And then also when we have these local infrastructures in place for being able to move food around the community, if there was some kind of, for whatever reason, natural disaster that we couldn't get shipments in from the other side of the Mississippi River anymore, then we are better prepared to be able to support ourselves and be a resilient community that can function in the face of hard times. And I think that's what Western Maryland is so good at doing, is coming together and being, we're going to do it. We're going to make it happen.
We are a very resourceful little area. Just seeing all kinds of different events and gatherings and stuff that's popping up and growing around here. Our community is really getting strong here in Western Maryland between all of the different counties, not even just the little cities where like we're in Allegheny County based right now, but like Garrett County is working really hard to get a lot of food and stuff grown too. And then like Washington County's doing a lot of cool things, and Frederick, and like all these little areas are really coming together to build this really, I want to say like holistic, natural based, pioneer, whatever kind of community. Progressive, is that what we said earlier? Progressive?
Yeah,
the progressive community of awesome energy. And it's just really good to see all of that coming together to take care of the land and each other, so that if, like you said, a natural disaster or something would come, we know that we're going to take care of each other.
Yeah.
Definitely become family based.
A lot of the millennials are starting to get really motivated to change the world for the better, and it's a good thing. I'm really excited that Suzy's here and Shannon's doing stuff, and I don't know. I think this generation is really important to shifting the earth into a direction that is sustainable and is everybody's equal. Everybody, we all realize that we're all one part of a whole. So I think it's great, and supporting your local farmers is something that, can help sustain your economy.
Absolutely.
So what, outside of the Wholesome Harvest, like the market space or the purchasing space, what are some of your other future plans to do with this project?
Oh, wow. If I can think past tomorrow.
Get the dreams out there.
List of things. Okay. Well, right now I've had a cookbook in the works for probably, I want to say 10 years, but the actual, it's the last couple years has really put a lot of recipes in front of me that can help to demystify these things that we call food. And so I'd like to publish this cookbook and just kind of publish my journey of food, because like I said, food is one of the most painful things in my life. If I eat something that isn't good for my body, it hurts me. It causes me pain, and it diminishes my quality of life. And trying to weave through this system of being in pain and not knowing how to fix it, and being told, oh, well, we don't know why, and have all these tests done and nobody can explain why I'm sick, and to empower myself to finally find what was going on, what the problem was, and then empower myself to change it. And I want to hopefully inspire other people to do that with their body, because we are ourselves personally are the best advocates for our body. We're the only one inside of them. We are the only one that knows what's going on. And so we are the only person that is capable of healing that. And I hope to share what I've found for my body with people so that they can start their path and their journey, and hopefully live healthier, more comfortable lives that are vibrant and resilient and enjoyable. And so that was the cookbook. And then from there, I would like to receive some kind of certification in integrative health and nutrition, because that's what I'm very passionate about, and currently in the state of Maryland, to be able to discuss with people and kind of offer those kinds of insights that you would get by meeting one-on-one with a practitioner. You need to be licensed to do that. And so I would like to be licensed, so then I can offer that as a personal one-on-one consultation resource to the community, and help steer people on their journey to taking charge and healing their lives. Plant some permaculture gardens. Plant some food forests everywhere. The whole place should be food forests.
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have anything else about your project Wholesome Harvest, or any ways that we can help you, or anything like that you'd like to share with our community?
Right now, it's pretty much just a waiting game. I'm crowdfunding a loan, mainly because it goes along the philosophy of food for community, because instead of going out to a big bank and getting a bank loan, where I would have to pay interest, and I would be funneling the money of the community out of it into somebody who quite frankly, I just want to say probably doesn't need it or really care at all. So instead of doing that, I'm crowdfunding a loan in the community so that the community would provide the loan and all the funds would be paid back to the community. And once that loan goes through, then it is go time. The market will start and open, and I will be doing pre-sales of inventory. I'm calling it the startup sampler, and we'll have a limited number of those just because I don't want to go out and be crazy on it. And our newsletter subscribers will get first dibs, and then from there I'll release it to the public. Pretty much you'll purchase a bag, and that bag will have a sampling of some of the inventory. You'll have a choice between the type of sampler, whether it's vegan, vegetarian, omnivorous. I mean, I guess if you want all meat, maybe. And then there'll be the specialty bag that it'll be a little bit more expensive to do a specialty thing, but if you have particular food allergies that you would you'd like to have considered when I put the bag together, you can do that. One thing, wheat-free bag is something that we will be offering. Probably wheat is not something that I'm going to exclude from my store, but it is only going to be bagged. It's going to be pre-bagged. So there's not going to be any loose wheat in the store because I just don't like being around that stuff. Personally, not any haters against wheat. It's great if you can eat it. That is awesome. Enjoy it. Love it for the rest of us that can't. But those samplers will be coming online here in the next couple weeks, pretty much as soon as it looks like the loan for the equipment is going to finish up. Then I'll start advertising those samplers for people to pre-sale, and then the market will open.
Yay.
So awesome.
I have a question. I think this might be something that a lot of people wonder about, is if you're going to be able to accept EBT, or is that something that you're going to be looking into?
Yes, actually, I'm really glad that you asked that. I've put in my EBT application, and I got an email today saying something about they received the paperwork. I was kind of on the fly between working at the farm and coming down to do some business stuff down here in Cumberland, so I didn't read it in depth. But EBT is something that I should have within the first couple of months, if not when we open. And then also I'm putting in a WIC application as well. So that is a little bit longer. When I spoke to them, they said that I can expect up to 6 months, which I know is a long time to wait, especially when you're very excited about something. But getting that is certainly something that is a priority, because I know a lot of people who the food stamps are very beneficial for, and I mean, even I myself have used them in my life and have been very grateful. And to be able to buy high quality food with that you know is nourishing your body as well as supporting your community is always awesome. So I definitely want to make that available to people for sure.
That's both really awesome options to have. Something I really want to make clear to our audience too is she's not asking for free money. And like a lot of crowdfunding and these GoFundMe or these Indiegogo and all these different applications that are asking for money, that's free money. Suzy's actually asking for a loan, and I think that's a really respectful thing. That's why I'm really supportive of this project. Is you're not asking for anything free. You're just asking for the support of the community, and I think that's so beautiful. And I hope that anyone that's listening to this and watching this and just taking part in our community will help this dream come true, because it's something that all communities need. And I'm really grateful for coming to our space. And how can people follow you and find information on this? Do you have a website or just Facebook, or how can people get a hold of this newsletter?
Oh, yes. Excellent. So we do have a website. It's wholesomeharvestfoods.com. It's foods with an S. And that links to our newsletter, which you can sign up for there. It also links to our Facebook, which should just be Wholesome Harvest Foods, I'm pretty sure. But there's a couple other Wholesome Harvest things going on. So if you just Google Wholesome Harvest Frostburg, you'll get the right one. And I think if you Google it, actually the Facebook is the top hit, just because Facebook is such an active website. Then it's pretty much just our website and Facebook right now. I'm not as computer savvy as most people, or
I think most people don't even have a website. So
yeah, so you're doing things.
You're doing good.
Well, excellent. Thank you. And by all means, if people want to contact me, I'm happy to share my contact information with Shannon here, and and just say hi. I like talking to people. But also stipulation, if you want to throw free money at me, I am not turning that down. But as of right now, I am not soliciting for free money. I just a loan is ideal.
Donations are always welcome. I didn't mean to
Yes.
take that out of there. I think it's a really respectful thing that you're going through this process outside of. I just see so many GoFundMe's, and I mean, we do a lot of crowdfunding too, and it is a thing that is happening in the community. But when someone's like willing to just do the loan factor, because if I read it right, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, they donate $20 and they get it $25 and they get it back in 3 years or something like that. And it goes towards getting like freezers, and like she's got this breakdown on the website of what the money's going towards. So you know what you're investing in and what you're helping happen. There's no real strings attached or anything that I saw, and it just was really motivational, and you had it all explained. So if anyone missed anything in our interview, you can just hop on the link. We're going to add the link to the interview in some way so that you can find it and follow and join in the making this happen.
I'm actually really excited about this loan opportunity because traditionally for businesses to get loan, it had to be accredited lending institution, which means that only big banks, that the 99% of the country could not put loans towards things that they supported. But now with this Kiva Zip, this Kiva platform, the 99% of average Americans, or actually extraordinary Americans, because I think we're all pretty extraordinary in living our lives, only one, so that we can actually invest in the things that we want to see and not just leave it up to these 1% guys at the top going, I think maybe we'll do that. It was like, no, we want this to happen and we're going to do it. And so take the power back. We're taking the power back. That's why I like this list.
Is the crowdfunding link on your website too?
It is not on the website yet. But that's something I could make available as soon as possible, actually.
If you send us a link, we can put it in the description for this podcast.
Making it easier for people to find you.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll send all that good stuff and everything. So
sounds good.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Do you have anything else you'd like to share?
Oh gosh. Well, it is wonderful to be down here and to see the work that you're doing. This space, the Mountainside Creative, is wonderful, and just it's really inspirational to see the work that we're doing, because really this is it. We're the ones who are taking over the controls of this ship right now, and we have it for a short time because very soon we're going to be, the next people coming in on top of us. But that what we're doing with what we have right now, I think, is just really fantastic and amazing, and just to continue doing it. So thank you guys for including me in your journey and adventure. And I am so grateful to be a part of this community and a part of this journey and adventure, because it's awesome.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Well, thank you for joining us, and we're really honored to have you. We hope that everyone listening, like you said, check out these links, check out the project. Thank you for listening through our experience today. Stay awake and shine on. Thanks for shining on with us.